Well, I've done 3 other part videos on my attempt at getting this Tonearm to track at a reasonable tracking force, like under 3 grams, and unable to achieve that. And part of it, I think, so as far as the bearings and everything, I don't have the head shell on, so that's why it's so light or fluid. With the head shell on, what I'm finding is the bearing left and right, up and down, is very, very smooth now that I've re-greased and redone all of the bearing points with, taking the old caked on grease and changing it with fresh Gatus grease that's recommended for dual turntables. Recommended because it doesn't get sticky and it doesn't dry out like common greases do, and this is a very common problem in tape decks like the Nakamichi line of tape decks. If you don't use them and the grease sits for a long time, it basically gets sticky and no longer works smoothly. So that is now corrected, I believe, with this arm. But what is not corrected is my ability to get it to track under about 4 grams. I can maybe dial it down to a little over 3.2 to 3.4. But that's with this knurled knob completely backed off. I have to pull the collar back. This collar here is not fluidly moving across the Tonearm tube. And you can actually see the gradations. There's actually, you should be able to see 4 of these solid lines, and this is as far back as I can get it. And even with the screw completely backed off and out, it does not get any lower of a tracking force than what I've been experiencing. And the problem is, I believe that this collar is corroded on the inside. I've tried tried to smooth it out and clean it out. I used isopropyl alcohol. I even went to a little bit of abrasive stuff just to smooth it out, and it just wasn't doing the trick. So I got a feeling that this piece here is hooped, because when you feel it inside, it feels like it's almost like sandpaper, and that was before I tried anything. So I've more or less given up on the arm. I will, of course, keep it because it is original to this table, and I was in search of a arm that is a drop-in, because keeping the originality of the table is important to me. I didn't want to have to re-core out the hole here, and also the unique length of the arm. I think it's 222 or 227, depending on how you measure it, from the pivot point to the spindle. And I went to Lenco forums, and they basically said that there's a couple of recommended, several actually, drop-in arms that are the right length and without having to modify anything on the table itself to devalue it. One was the Stax UA7, and I think there was another, can't remember the name of it, another brand of an arm. And then the one that I sort of glommed onto was an Audio-Technica 1005 version 2 arm. And so I searched one out and got one for a reasonable price in Japan. So what I'll be doing is I'll be removing this arm and putting that drop-in Audio-Technica arm. It has the same sort of mounting configuration as this, so I won't have to alter the unit at all in order to fit it. And then I will be reassembling it, and then go with the new plinth here that I just did. And it's sitting here drying, slow drying, so it's going to take about a week to not be tacky anymore, but it's actually getting there right now. It's about 2 days in, and really my, of course, motive here is to honor the heritage of this turntable. So with that, here's the original platter, which weighs a ton, and the actual transport mechanism on this table works phenomenally. And there you can see the Swiss flag slip mat, or turntable mat. And so we'll have that on top of that with the red plinth and the original serial number and everything. It's really, really in good shape. And then, of course, the Audio Salente tire and wheel that I put on. And this thing, you stop the thing and it goes for about 3 or 4 minutes before it even slows down, kind of thing. It's like really, really a lot of inertia that keeps that platter nice and stable. So the speed and everything is working great. The only issue I've been having with this thing has been the arm. So hopefully that will make this thing a beautiful sounding table. Can't wait. So I've got to wait a couple of weeks for the arm to come in.